Guys and gals and pals, if you don't feel alive after watching that and taking a deep dive into the amazing archive, then reboot your internal disk drive. Excellence will arrive in the form of our next mystery competitors. Your smile is something that we will never deprive. Sit back and enjoy, like the Cheerios mascot lounging in the old beehive. This is the TKN Celebrity Grand Debate Tournament, night number 16. Award winners, Hall of Famers, legends, champions. This tournament's got the swag like early 50s James Dean. The topics are thought-provoking, original, impactful, like an unrelenting tackle from Mean Joe Green. 146 consecutive episodes, 53 pages airing us live, and 7-figure views across the board only begins to tell the story. Everyone competing in this tournament wants the $13,000, the trip for 2 degrees, but more importantly, they want the glory. Where else, week in and week out, can you enjoy live debate matches featuring stars from all walks of life? While you're enjoying a snack in your living room, the virtual palace to be is right here, this place. And ladies, you even get the opportunity to stare at this handsome and beautiful face. Something for everyone indeed. So with that, let's bring in the first competitor, as she's definitely a class act. Her body of work is second to none, and she leaves people better than they were. That much is a fact. Her work has always been honest, truthful, and her range is vast. But there's so much to be said. She starred in Amityville 2, The Last American Virgin, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and Better Off Dead. She's a teacher, a mother, a storyteller, but I call her friend. Her energy and personality always conjures up a smile. Knowing her is appreciating such a trend. Will she leave her opponents in this tournament catching their breath, marveling at her excellence, while they rethink their plan? Please welcome and put your hands together for a talented, real, and awesome human being. Last name Franklin, first name Diane. Diane Franklin, welcome to the Celebrity Grand Debate Tournament.
That is the most excellent intro I've ever heard.
Oh, please. Diane, man, I'm so happy that you're here for this tournament. You told me earlier that it's about the pride and the prize. Sure, there's $13,000 on the line, a trip for 2 degrees, but winning this whole thing, the pride of winning against these amazing luminaries, that's something that speaks to you.
It does, and I'm so excited to be on your show. I just love this debate idea, and I'm ready to go.
I can't wait. Guys, Diane is going to go backstage for 1 second as we bring in one of her opponents. Diane, I'll see you very soon. Man, oh man, Diane Franklin, her body of work is incredible. And again, such a great human being as well. A competitor. This is going to be fun already, guys and gals. So with that, the next competitor is as remarkable. And when we converse, she always has made my day. She lit up the stage in good old Jersey as Lady M in my favorite Scottish play. Her incredible work on Broadway speaks for itself. Frozen, George Bernard Shaw's Heartbreak House, and The Real Thing are just some to name a few. It is this humble writer's opinion that in every one of her performances, she was the foundation that held it all together. I call it the glue. She was nominated for the Helen Hayes Award for Outstanding Supporting Performer, a Drama Desk Award for Outstanding Featured Actress in a Play, and a SAG Award film. Again, guys and gals, to nominate the 1997 Joseph Jefferson Award Best Actress for A Streetcar Named Desire at the Steppenwolf Theater. Indeed, her goal was to serve the play at age 33. She's made her audience's hearts resonate and internalize. Liberation through her art sets us all free. In 2022, she joined the cast of AMC drama series The Walking Dead as Governor of the Commonwealth. She portrayed young Livia Soprano on The Sopranos, a character that had quite the effect on the aforementioned Tony's health. She starred opposite Steve Martin, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Tom Selleck in An Innocent Man, NBC's The Blacklist, and Showtime's Homeland. She's the epitome of class personified, so let's all give her a hand. Her performances are breathtaking, so don't worry if you're out of breath in her presence as your voice filters kick in and all you can utter is the word, Put your hands together for a warm, kind, talented storyteller. Last name Robbins, first name Laila. Welcome, Laila Robbins, to the Celebrity Grand Debate Tournament.
Oh my God, that was unbelievable. You've really dug into the archives there.
I got to tell you, I'm so excited to have you here. I love conversing with you. This is, I guess, would you concur with Diane? You're here to win this whole tournament.
Oh, absolutely. I'm here to kill it. I'm here to kill it. Oh my God, I haven't seen that much wrestling in the last 4 decades than I just saw in the last 12 minutes.
I got to tell you, we got such a mixed bag of incredible talent in this tournament. We have wrestlers, award winners from all walks of life, luminaries. Again, we're talking about Oscar winners. We're talking about athletes and Hall of Famers. I know that you're a Hall of Famer as well when it comes to your body of work and as a human being as well. I can't wait to see you in action in a moment as well.
My goodness. All right. Okay.
I'll put you backstage in a moment. Guys, those are 2 amazing competitors. And again, even more important, amazing human beings. But there is another competitor, guys and gals, in this. Remember, it's triple threat match. That means 2 out of 3 will advance. 2 out of 3 will advance and move on to round number 2. And of course, you guys are the engine that makes this thing go, as you know. And as you guys, all you have to do, is click in and type in www.thenetwork.com. That is www.theknetwork.com. Who knew? We knew, and so do you, guys and gals. 7-figure views across the board because of you. And guess what? More shows, more luminaries, 60+ talk shows from people from all walks of life. We talk about everything under the sun, under the moon. Guess what? We covered all because you guys come back for more. So thank you again. You will be voting again. You will be voting tonight. And the top 2 vote getters, after all 3 topics have been debated, will move on to round number 2. Our third competitor in this tournament is one of the funniest human beings alive on this planet. His content is legendary, and his delivery, timing, and execution is as strong as a bodybuilder made out of granite. He's a friend that's down to earth, humble, and his talent is limitless. Even these rhymes can't do the man justice. He leaves his audiences in stitches and in a constant state of bliss. Our faithful audience remembers how I mentioned the fact that we would all sit down behind our TVs and clamor as he lit it up on the screen as the one and only MC Hammer. To him, I say thank you for the movie Woo. A standing ovation is what I gave you in the theaters as I stood tall for your nuanced performance as the lead in Booty Call. As one of the stars on the legendary ensemble in Living Color, his range was evident, and the acclaim deservedly followed this one-of-a-kind human being. His charisma and likability is off the charts. He might even get Depp and Heard to start agreeing. He's here to win this tournament as we welcome him on this summer night that happens to be balmy. Put your hands together for a kind, intelligent, humble human being. Last name Davidson, first name Tommy. How are you, my friend?
I'm here.
Tommy Davidson.
That was a great intro. That's the second best intro I ever had.
I'm so happy to see you, my friend. How are you doing, man?
I'm really good. I'm ready. I'm fired up. I'm looking at Greece right now. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, and you told me
the movie.
The movie, we all love Grease. The sequel's okay too. I want to bring this up as well. It's not just about Grease or the 13,000. It's the pride of going through some of the very best in this field and winning the whole tournament.
That's right, and that's why I'm here. I'm here to fire off just information, form it into a win, stack it up,
love it,
and take it home.
Look at the love. Welcome back, Tommy Davidson. Welcome, Tommy. Welcome, Tommy. Welcome, Laila. Welcome, Diane. All the comments, everybody. Oh, snap. Yes, guys, we are live, and you guys are welcoming us. Let's bring in Diane Franklin. Let's bring in Laila Robbins.
Okay, right. Let's go, guys.
It's going to be incredible. I love it. Guys, topic number 1 is Anthem of the 80s, and I will read you again the lineup here that we have in order. Diane will debate first. Laila will debate second. Okay. Tommy will debate third. Now, if any opponent wants to rebut someone speaking or debating, all they have to do is lift their index finger up. I'll pop up, and you could rebut somebody as well. Again, we will tally the points. After each topic has been debated by all 3 competitors, we'll tally up the points from all of you and our 2 judges in the back. And after 3 topics have been debated, once again, the top 2 vote getters move on to round number 2. It's incredible. Guys and gals, remember, some more mystery competitors coming down the pike. We got 3 more Oscar winners, 2 Hall of Famers in the month of August. Stay tuned for that. But topic number 1. Topic number 1, guys and gals, is all about the anthem of the 80s. The 80s, and by extension, 80s songs, can sometimes be viewed as if they were all some big, fabulous experiment in which everybody dressed up ridiculously. Big hair, scrunchies, power shoulders. But it was awesome. And we loved it. And we miss it. Let's be honest. All those things did happen, and for the most part, they were great. They form a big part of the joy of listening back to the decade that had a booming nostalgia attached practically the moment it ended. But the 80s was about so much more than the sum of its eccentricities. There's a huge difference between an 80s song and a song from the 80s. This is the decade that gave us Prince, Madonna, Michael Jackson. It launched Public Enemy, NWA upon the world. New wave stalwarts like Talking Heads and Devo found new grooves, while transcendent artists like Marvin Gaye and Paul Simon offered up some of the best work of their careers. Electronic innovators like New Order rewrote the rules of music, and as the decade wore on, rap's early rippies turned into a tsunami that changed the face of pop music forever. From genre-defying works of genius to ear-worm flights of fancy, which song best represents the 80s best? Diane Franklin will go up first, and she will make a case for Madonna's Like a Virgin as the song that best represents the decade of the 80s. When you're done, just cue me in. Diane, are you ready, my friend?
Yes.
In a 3, in a 2, in a U.
Okay, so the reason why I chose Like a Virgin from Madonna is because that song, first of all, opened up things for women. I'm going to just talk about her as an artist. First of all, I just want to preface this. I know so many incredibly talented 80s musicians and artists. I love your music, but this is my point. In the 80s, women were coming from a place where they were not in the workforce, but once the 80s started, we were now in the workforce, in the office. We're in a place where we're competing against men. And Madonna was very interesting because she really represented women coming out, being all feminine, all womanly, sexy, and ironically, fabulously, she was actually making a living trying to not lean on a man to make her money. She was trying to go in on her own, make her own money. And when she did like a Virgin, you know, it's very interesting because that song changed everything. It made people go, whoa, like women's sexuality is really important. It was a time when AIDS was coming out and people were like pulling back on that because we're pulling back about sexuality. So all of a sudden she made it like, yeah, it's okay to be a woman. It's okay to be sexual. It's okay to talk about virginity. This is a very empowering subject and song. I mean, it certainly got everybody's attention. And I'm sure that all of you know this song. Why? Because it really, really it brought the 80s. It made the 80s. It really was and whether you like the song or not, whether you like Madonna or not, you have to admit that she made her mark with that song. And I have to tell you something. She gave a lot of freedom to a lot of women sexually to be, and I keep saying sexual, but the truth is it's about the empowerment and being who you are and being feminine and being able to stand for on your own 2 feet. And that is what women needed to do in the 80s. We needed to go out in the public, be in the guy's workforce, and not just be that cute girl with the high shoulders, padded shoulders, but we needed to be respected and paid equally. And so it was very difficult in the 80s. For anyone who's listening, you may just think, oh yeah, I go to work. Well, that wasn't happening. The 80s was where it started. So that's my pitch.
Guys and gals, Diane Franklin made a pitch for Madonna's Like a Virgin.
Wow.
So there we go. That is incredibly an iconic song, and there's so many iconic songs that we will be discussing right now. Of course, Laila Robbins and Tommy Davidson. Laila is up next. She will make a case for Whitney Houston's I Want to Dance with Somebody as the song that best represents the decade of the 80s.
Well, I don't know if it best represents the 80s, but you said something about the anthem of the 80s. So I thought, well, you know, I was kind of torn between Tina Turner's What's Love Got to Do with It, but that's a little bit of a downer. So I went with Whitney on I Want to Dance with Somebody. Okay, let's first start. The rhythm of the song starts right away, and you get that cowbell going at the beginning. And I challenge anyone not to dance when that song comes on. And no one has done anything better with the first lyrics are, yeah, woo, hey, yeah, ha, oh, yeah, yeah, I want to dance. I challenge anyone to do better with those at the beginning, with those little high notes that she hits. Okay. And I just love this idea of I need a man who'll take the chance on a love that burns hot enough to last. Yes, love, please. Not just sex, but love with that sex. I like that idea. Also, I think that little chuckle at the end that she does is so devilish. You know, she has that little laugh when she puts the water on top of that guy. And I think that's a lot of fun. And for me personally, I remember the first time I saw her video. I had never heard a voice that clear, that powerful, and that range that she had. On top of that, she was absolutely stunning to look at. When she's got that little blonde curly wig on and she's backlit like an angel, and that pink dress and that gorgeous body that she had, I literally was like, who is that? So it made a really big impression on me. That's my spiel.
Absolutely. No, we're off to a hot start, guys and gals. Diane, yes.
I would like to say I also agree that that's a great song, but my song's better.
There you go. There you go, guys and gals. So what did Diane and Laila get to say once Tommy makes the case for his song, which is the anthem of the 80s as far as he's concerned, because he's going to make a case for Michael Jackson's Thriller as the song that best represents the decade of the 80s. Are you ready to go, my friend?
I'm ready to go, but I'm going to change that, if that's okay. First of all, I'm going to lose because I'm up against two women. But anyway,
No.
I'm going to say that it was Billie Jean. I'm going to say that the women's movement had started way back in the 70s. And the thing that I loved about Billie Jean was it brought all of society together in one place. And it was like the first time. You know, early in the 70s, you know, we were getting there. Michael Jackson was with the Jackson 5, but then there was the Osmonds, then there was the Brady Bunch, and then there was everything was, we were all together, but not really, you know. But when it came to music, we were, because it was AM music in the 70s. So we all listened to the same thing. We all listened to the same thing. I mean, you would know Fleetwood Mac, you would know Earth, Wind and Fire, you would know, I mean, we would know them all. But that's 10 years before the 80s. The 80s come along, the kids are now of age that grew up with busing, grew up with the women's movement. I am woman, hear me roar. Your number's too good to ignore. And I know that much. Stay back and pretend. And they hit the offices because of Mary Tyler Moore's show. You know, that girl. You know, and so it was turning into this whole thing where that movement happened. Those children of those women are now getting grown. Okay. So now we have the Black movement, right? That's going into groove. We're all going to schools together. Cesar Chavez, the work movement. So we're all Vietnam, all the kids coming home from that. And there's this culture, this cauldron of culture going on in the wake of Woodstock, and all of that happened. But in the 80s, it all came together because it was a video revolution as well. And the video revolution is what took us to TV. And what happened was, now all these things converged back, because we were in the 70s. It started splitting later on in 77, 78. It was the rock stations, right? It was the soul stations. Hip hop hadn't hit yet. You see, the 80s was the beginning of that. You see, and I thought that Billie Jean, that song, and the video opened up all the videos that followed it. But what followed it was the television revolution. And so we went from Good Times and all this other stuff to Murphy Brown. We went to all these things that started representing everyone, you know. And then with MTV, then Yo MTV Raps came along. So now we're converging. We're getting into the 80s. We're going over. We're getting to the apex, and we're converging into the 90s. We're not in the 90s yet, but it's all boiling up. What is it? Run DMC and the rock group doing that. Madonna had her thing. Prince's whole thing was 1999. We are what was it? She got a fast car, and you know. So we're going into this really, really, really modern, really, really societal mix. You know, the gay world, the lesbian world was now starting to convert. Was starting to make a self-determination for themselves because of the AIDS, and they had to make that a legal disease so that it could be treated, because it was in the closet or some kind of bones or something. So it was the beginning of that. But to me, it was where everything converged, and from there we're here. And that's why I said it's that. And then Michael Jackson turned out to be this really mega star who left a legacy way beyond his time. It was the man in the mirror, you know, and it was time for the man in the mirror, you know, and we all benefited from that one seed. And I think it spurred Hall & Oates in the 80s. It spurred Janet Jackson. It spurred all of these movements. And so I think that is the reason why.
And a rebuttal by Diane Franklin.
We get one loop. I have to say that I agree with what you're saying, but I kind of think Thriller was more of is more influential. And I'm going to say why I think you should have chosen Thriller, because even today, kids are even doing Thriller. And I think because of the dance combination, just like you said, the MTV videos, I actually am voting for another song, but no. Okay, I am. But like that is, I would say that the Thriller song is definitely something that I would have picked before.
And Laila Robbins has a rebuttal.
I'm not sure it's a rebuttal, but Thriller. I have a very personal experience with Thriller. I was in Cape Town, South Africa. It was Halloween night, Claire Danes' house, and I danced to Thriller and ripped my ACL in half.
Uh-oh. No, it's not that. Oh, on Halloween? No,
Yes.
come on.
So I am glad you didn't choose Thriller.
Are you gonna, Laila? Are you going to come back on the show Are you going to come back on the show if I laugh right now? Is it okay to laugh? Or? I'm asking permission to laugh. You're an incredible person and friend, but I love the good time that we're having over here. And you know what? We're having a good time because it epitomizes the 80s. Wouldn't you agree that the one thing the 90s wanted was the 80s? The 90s wanted the 80s back. Because the early 90s represented the 80s. When you're 90, 91, you still feel like you're in 87, 88, 89, right? It still felt like the 80s. We wanted it back.
It seems so.
Yeah.
Yeah, all these. Go ahead.
We wanted to hold on to the 80s. I think that, and the biggest problem with that was it was almost like every decade has to go like the opposite or completely represent itself totally different. So the 90s could not be the 80s because we're now in a new decade. And I remember, and I don't know if you guys remember when we came into the 80s, the early 80s, boy, did I feel the shift from the 70s to the 80s. 70s to me were my teen years, and it was very soft and thoughtful. Kind of like the music was kind of like laid back. And again, it was because we didn't have the visual. So we used our imagination, listened back to music. But the 80s was very and they took advantage of the bright colors and the big look and to bring that out. So all of these are very good points. By the way, I wanted to say hi, Laila.
Laila.
Darn it, I always get that wrong. Hi, Laila. Nice to meet you. And hi, Tommy.
Hi, thank you. Thank you so much.
You're looking at three very humble, down-to-earth human beings who so happen to not only be extremely entertaining, established, talented, but also very thoughtful, and I love that. And the reason why I laughed, Laila, is because I, too, almost threw out my back trying to do Thriller, attempting, and I could not do it. I tried. Guys and gals, although I did it with the Blazers, so that kind of saved the day. I look good messing up. That's always good. Guys and gals, we're moving on to topic 2, but before we do that, you get a chance to vote. I am so fortunate that I'm not voting. So with that, let's bring in our judges, and while our judges are voting right now and explain why they vote for who they vote for, you guys in the comment section can vote as well. So let's bring in Giselle. Who do you vote for and why?
Hello. I am loving your energy this evening. This is amazing to me. I love seeing everybody. It gets me pumped up to see you all so pumped up. Welcome back to the ones who have been here before. Hello to our people who are appearing for the first time. Fantastic topic. You have made this extremely difficult. Diane, I love all your points about Madonna representing women and bringing that freedom and empowerment forward. Laila, you're completely correct. You cannot hear that song without wanting to dance. My vote tonight is going to go to Mr. Davidson because he really explained to me why Billie Jean would be the anthem of the 80s with bringing in the video, the music videos beginning, the effect that it had on other cultural movements.
Very good, Giselle. Thank you so much. And if you could tally the rest of the votes in the back, I'd appreciate that as well. Thank you so much. So the judges' votes are worth 3. We know that. So that's 3 points for Mr. Davidson. Let's bring in Mindy Red and see who she votes for and why.
Good evening, everybody. You guys, I'm going to jump off what Giselle said. I love your energy. I love this topic. Taking me back to the 80s. I was a wee child in the 80s, but man, do I remember all of these songs. And
that's the one point too. Yeah.
Yes. And I remember where I was the first time, each time I heard these songs. Tommy, you had me until Diane's rebuttal. Diane got me with the rebuttal because she brought up such an excellent point with Thriller. But I love how you took us through the times because, yes, I remember the progression of MTV and going to the videos. Laila, you were absolutely right. I remember the first time I saw Whitney Houston in that gorgeous pink dress and her blonde hair. I loved it. But my vote has to go for Diane on this one because she brought up such an excellent point of what Madonna did for women and talking sexuality at that early age. That I say early age, it was my early age, but she opened that door for us with that particular song. So that is why my vote goes for Diane.
Okay.
Thank you, Mindy Red. Appreciate that. 3 points now. Giselle, if you can tally that in the private chat so I can see, I appreciate that.
Don't forget Helen Redding.
What's that?
Don't forget Helen Redding.
Yes, please don't. Giselle,
So that was
3
the
points
70s.
for Tommy Davidson and 3 points for Dan Franklin. Appreciate that.
He was powerful.
Yeah.
What wasn't powerful in that decade? Great decade of metal, as Patrick is saying. Yeah, I
I
agree
was
with that.
getting there. I was getting there.
And that's powerful. Guys and gals, everything about this gentleman and these amazing ladies is absolutely incredible. And I say that from the heart because they're giving you their heart as well and their mind. Let's see. Time to vote indeed. The 80s was such an eclectic range of music. Absolutely. Tiffany votes for Tommy. Another point for Mr. Davidson. Okay.
I'll take it.
Here we go. Here we go. Ryan, could see, guys and gals, everyone right now is in anticipation to see how this goes. Ryan says, first off, Tommy Davidson wins everything he touches.
Oh,
The man was
please.
in booty call, for God's sake. So another vote for Tommy Davidson from Ryan Bowman. Patrick says, all had great tracks and points for them, but Tommy Davidson has my vote. Another point for Tommy Davidson.
Okay.
Jaleesa, Tommy is great, but who are you voting for? Let us know so you can make it official. That is the stickler in me. I'm sorry, the old grumpy teacher in me. Eric Heron says, Tommy Davidson wins a close one.
It's close.
MJ was the king of the 80s music scene for a reason. He gets my vote. Jaleesa, everyone's energy is great. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for that beautiful comment. We appreciate that. And this is tough, Lola Jones, without question. I'm going to still scroll up here in real time, guys and gals, and collect all of your votes. So keep voting before we move on to topic number 2. John Rett says, I have to go with Tommy Davidson in this first round.
Okay.
Good.
Mindy Furley says, my vote goes to Diane Franklin. Another point for Diane Franklin. Very good.
Thank you.
Lola Jones, this is difficult, but I'm going with Tommy. Okay. Giselle, thank you for tallying. Laila gets Joe Rizart's vote.
0.
There we go. Oh, we're just kicking things off. 2 more
It's
topics.
still early.
I'm a beginner. I don't know how to
It's
do this.
still early. It's still early.
Jason London last week was down by like 800 points and won the whole thing. It was incredible. So you never know. You never know what might happen. We got 2 more topics. Jaleesa says, I am voting for Tommy to make it official. Thank you very much, Jaleesa. I appreciate that. Johnny McKinney says, Diane. Okay, Diane gets your vote. Blake votes for Laila. So again, Giselle, that is another vote for
All
Diane.
right.
Another
All
for
right.
Laila. There we go. Awesome. Another one we have. Phil says, I am not a fan of any of these songs, but Tommy brought us on a cultural journey. My vote goes for Tommy. Thank you for being honest. We appreciate that, Phil, even though
That
we
was great.
don't agree with you, but we also don't hate you either.
He didn't like the music at all.
Don't like that comment. Julie Hall. Holy cow. So difficult. All 3 were fantastic by a slim margin. Voting for Laila Robbins. P.S. Love you in Blacklist and so help me Todd. Awesome comment there for Julie Hall. Our viewers are amazing, aren't they? They're awesome. They really are. We appreciate you guys. Very classy. So, again, Laila has a vote now from Julie Hall. Sean Stasiak, who's in this tournament or was, absolutely love Madonna and Whitney Houston. 2 amazing songs. Diane and Laila both had strong points and great tie-ins. How those songs influenced, reinforced the new movement in the 80s. But going with my man Tommy on this round, Michael Jackson's Thriller song music video brought up music revolution. Besides, I'm a huge Halloween freak, and when that song comes on, I lose it. Face your fears. Very good. Sean Stasiak votes for Tommy Davidson in this particular round. Very good. Very good.
I'll take it.
Chad says, I have to vote Tommy. His points outweighed the other debaters just by a bit. Thank you, Chad. We appreciate that. A lot of votes coming down the pike. Guys, we're on 53 pages again, not just my own, 53, and that's why we have all of the amazing metrics thanks to all of you. Without all of you, it'd be all of us, and you guys outnumber us. Okay. Julie says she votes for Tommy. Pull that up. We pull up all these votes so everyone can see, guys and gals. We do this all fair and live. Sunshine votes for Tommy as well. Okay. Let's see if there's more votes. Nicole says, I met Diane at a Las Vegas event, the Days of the Dead event. Days of the Dead. Okay.
Hi.
Nicole.
Hi, Nicole.
Appreciate that. We have Truly Julie voting for Tommy, and Diane gets a vote from Pete Sharpie. Thank you very much. So 1 vote for Diane and 1 vote for Tommy. Christopher says, wow, what a topic. All 3 debaters did so well, but Diane really spoke to me of how Madonna really changed the music scene. Diane gets my vote.
Thank you.
Okay. Jeff Reeder says, tough decision. I have to go with Diane. She made solid points and threw in a rebuttal. Okay. Very good. Thank you very much for that.
Look at this comeback.
I'm telling you. Dakota Benson. I'm going with the beautiful Diane.
Wow.
Yeah, that's two. That's two straight for Diane Franklin, guys and gals. Alexander Garcia, man in the 80s. I was ingesting baby formula not because it was used to, but because I was an actual baby. Diane wins my vote because she made a great argument about Madonna's impact. Yes, anytime you can fluster me, why not? Please, I don't mind. Absolutely, give you some points there for making me bumble and stumble and mumble and fumble all over the place. So, with that, let's see who else we got.
It's close.
Lester Cook, it's close. Tommy Davidson gets a vote from Lester Cook. Just practicing for the writing. You're awesome, Sean. Thank you so much. A great writer and storyteller. Guys, I think I'm going to count this thing down and see where we are right now. And do we have more votes coming down the pike? All right, 10, 9. Howard Collado votes for Mr. Davidson. So another point for Mr. Tommy Davidson. Thank you very much. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. After round 1, Tommy Davidson with 18 points. Diane Franklin with 10 points. Laila Robbins with 3. We have more. We have a lot more, guys and gals. So, yes. And the judges' votes are worth 3 points each. So, that's a wild card. Guys and gals, our second topic is most revolutionary invention of the 80s. There's something oddly appealing about the 80s. So much that the fashion, ideas, overall culture from that decade have consistently weaved themselves into our modern pop culture. Some of the world's most popular brands and media are thriving thanks to our longing for 80s culture. The 80s saw the fascinating fusion of technology and culture. And this, in turn, helped the decade spark a fascinating range of new technology and products. People's overall optimism towards the future and how technology will shape it lay at the heart of many engineers' childhoods. There's a good chance that your love for innovation might actually have started in the 80s and blossomed into the decades that followed. Laila Robbins will start this round off by making a case for the internet, first known as ARPANET, as the greatest invention of the 80s. When Laila is finished, Tommy will make a case for the camcorder as the greatest invention of the 80s. And of course, Diane Franklin will make a case for 1984's Apple Macintosh computer as the most revolutionary invention of the 80s. Laila, are you ready, my friend?
Yeah.
In a 3, in a 2, in a U.
Okay, the internet. I tried to research it, but I'm not good with computers, ironically. The internet. Here we go. I learned a lot. I actually learned a lot. I feel like I'm doing a book report again. This is the weirdest feeling. Okay. All right. So the as Avi said, it was called the ARPANET back then, and it was a way of putting all these multiple networks together. And even back in the 1900s, Nikola Tesla thought of a world wireless system. So that's in the 1900s. Then we move into in the 1960s, where multiple computers were able to communicate with one another on a single network. And then in 1969, the University of California, LA, sent a message to Stratford. And then the computers were the size of small houses. And they sent one word that said login, and only 2 letters made it to the other side. Anyway, this is just all to say that it's been a long process with a lot of people involved in trying to develop it. But the net was considered to be, where the heck did that go? Sorry. I lost the date, but it was, January 1st, 1983 was technically the birth of the internet. And for me, I feel like it changed the world because it made the world smaller. It made the world suddenly shrink. I mean, back in the day, we were writing letters, handwritten letters, typed letters, send it snail mail. If you made a long distance phone call, it cost you an arm and a leg, so you never spent any amount of time. It brought everyone closer, and families got to be more intimate. It made people start to reach out and learn about each other's cultures more freely, and you didn't have to be a rich traveler to do that. You just go to the internet and learn about anything you want. I mean, my 93-year-old mother is constantly amazed that she said, all the answers are in your little phone. Like, you can ask anything. Remember the card catalogs at the library? When you wanted to learn about something, you literally physically had to go to the library. You had to look through the card catalogs. You find it. You got to find the book. Then you got to find another book. I mean, it took forever. And here we have it at the snap of a finger. And that's all because of the internet. Also, I guess I like the internet because, to me, it's kind of like another indication of God. It's kind of like the first time I thought that was when I was in a plane. I'm in a plane and the clouds are here, right? And suddenly you're in the plane and you go, oh, the sun is up here. I thought there was no sun when I was down here because of the clouds, right? So the internet, it's like, I feel like if you can't see the internet, if you can't feel it and see it, you can't feel or see God. I mean, you can feel God emotionally, but we can't see it. And it just gives me more faith. That's why I like the internet.
She's coming hard with that, boy.
Tough act to follow, indeed. Tough act to follow.
Yeah, she's with the Lord. You know, hey.
At last I checked, the Lord is undefeated. So, I mean, there we go, guys and gals.
I'm telling you right now.
Oh, man.
Hey, I had to pull out the big guns with you guys.
Right.
I'm not even debating, and I'm perspirating all over the place, too.
Right.
Guys, Tommy Davidson, guys, is going to make a case for the camcorder as the greatest invention of the 80s. Are you ready, my friend?
Hi, after that? Yeah. Yeah.
In a 3, in a 2, in a U.
Well, you know, I go off of technology from before, especially music. You know, there was no video that you can have in your hand, period. It just wasn't going to happen. When it comes to music, we had sort of clunky. You had to physically use them. There was the 8-track, there was the record, there was the CD, you know, but this is the first time that video jumped out of traditional means and landed in your hand, and digital. The concept that NASA introduced us with the man on the moon was the satellite. No satellite, no internet. All of a sudden, the concept of satellite infused with a personal device, put everything in the palm of our hands. I believe that it even preceded the technology of the cell phone before it really started moving and getting smaller. The network setup and the technology setup by Apple and by Macintosh and all these led to the world being in the palm of your hands. And I really just believe that it started with that concept. Hey, why go to the movies? You can make your own. Why take a picture with a camera when you got these paper things coming out of there, you know, and you got to shake it? Or why take all these pictures and then you got to wait at the pharmacy to have them the next day or whatever, or in 3 days? Why don't you just do it now? Why don't you? And it's in the palm of your hands, you know. And so that's the reason why I picked the camcorder, for one reason and one reason only, is because it really led to the cell phone, and the cell phone is really a personal way to get to the world the fastest. The internet helps that. The internet helps that happen, because what do you got on the phone? You got Google. You got everything you need. Even on the plane. Even on the plane, they'll charge you, but you can get in the internet even on the plane. But nobody's going, hey man, turn on the internet for the, you know, come on, everybody come over here and watch this movie. It's because we're in our own net. We're the control is in our palm. We have the chance to choose. And it takes pictures digitally. It does all those things digitally. But I believe that that's what put it in the palm of our hands, was the start of that.
Beautifully put, Dan. Franklin, rebuttal.
I just want to say I love the camcorder as well. I loved using it. I remember when it came out, and it was really fun, and it was very visually exciting. You know, it was very exciting.
Yeah.
For all of us who were raised during that time. Wow, that was a miracle. Mm-hmm. It was cool. Anyway, that was it.
Thank you.
Oh, I appreciate that.
It demystified technology.
Yes.
Yeah.
No question. Guys, I call this competitive camaraderie is what you're seeing, and I like that. Competitive camaraderie. We're seeing that on full display over here. And guys, again, quick little station identification. We got thenewNetwork.com. All you got to do is type in www.thenewNetwork.com. That is www.theknawntwork.com. Who knew? We knew, and so do you. 60-plus shows, guys. Luminaries from all walks of life. It's not simply their name on the Walk of Fame. No, we got people that have a lot to talk about. They have ideas and concepts and morals and beliefs, and we do that every single night. 60-plus talk shows with, again, people from all walks of life, up-and-coming talent as well, Hall of Famers, legends, champions. We love this network. It took 14 months to build this infrastructure. And where can you get grand debates on top of that, on top of our talk shows on the network every Saturday night live? We're here in the danger zone. We do it live with everybody over here showing up, doing their research, giving you their best. Nobody else is doing that right now. We are, because of you. So with that, guys and gals, we move on to our next competitor which will be Diane Franklin, as she will make a case for 1984's Apple Macintosh computer as the most revolutionary invention of the 80s. Are you ready, my friend?
Yes.
In 3, in 2, in
All right. So 1984 Apple Macintosh computer. I want to tell you that when this came out, 1984, this particular product changed the world because computers now became commercial. They went from commercial use to now being commercially available to anyone. Anyone who bought a computer could take it home and write and type and do your thing. And I remember being of the generation that used to type, and then then you had to use the little eraser thing and the thing. Like, it was such a hard thing. But this computer, the 1984 Macintosh computer, it had graphics and it had a mouse. And so now we got the visual. Not only that, but we've got the typing and the visual. We didn't have the internet yet, but it was the beginning of self-expression and creativity. It was the beginning of control for the personal, everyday, ordinary person who could afford it at the time to be able to start using our imagination. Again, look, I wouldn't be here talking to you right now in this interview unless we didn't have these computers that we could take home. And also, cute note was it was called a Macintosh, and I don't know if you know this, because one of the creators, Rankin, I think his name is, Jeff Rankin, I might have the name wrong, but he loved, that was his favorite Apple. So that's how Macintosh came to be. But also, they say the two greatest inventions in the world are from the Apple. Isaac Newton discovered, Apple falls to the ground from gravity, and then the creation of the 1984 Macintosh computer. I personally, I don't know about you guys, but I remember when computers became available at home, because my daughter was one of the first people to, we got a computer. My husband was writing on them, but I know my daughter was able to start working on them. And I just think it changed everything. And then, of course, on the internet, we were able to later on. But without that piece of ingenuity in the 80s, none of all the other things would have ever happened. We wouldn't be on Google. We wouldn't be we wouldn't be TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, and all those things wouldn't be happening if we didn't originally have our home computer. If the computer was not a personal item that each person could own, then it would have been like big business. They would have been the ones to control it, and that's really what made it special and amazing and more boutique. And let's say one thing too. The only thing I'm afraid about with the computer, to be honest, any computer, is what if the electricity went out? We couldn't communicate. So anyway, but I guess that's with the phone too. What if there was no? And I'm always afraid with that with pictures. What if, all my pictures were gone? I saved them, but there was nothing to play them on. So people keep taking your old-fashioned pictures, keep recording your voice. But here we go. Computer definitely, to me, was the greatest invention of the 80s.
Wow, very, very good. Tommy Davidson has a rebuttal.
Not really. Yeah, I guess I do. I still contend it led to putting technology in our hand.
Yes.
It to me, it's and I hate to say this.
But it started it.
But it's true. That cell is a life-saving device. You don't see somebody say, "I'm going to go and get my laptop." I'm going to grab my laptop. GPS.
Yeah.
It just puts you are independently hooked to the world, even if you're on the side of a highway with 2 flat tires in Fort Collins, Colorado. It just changed that.
It did, but it wouldn't have come. All the other things wouldn't have happened.
That's what I mean.
We had it. Yeah, we had to have it.
But it leads to what we have. In the hand was the concept. The concept. Let's take it away from the corporations. Let's take it away from the few rich. Let's take it away and put the technology. It's almost like when Ford did the car.
Yes.
He was going, "Hey man, We can
I have
do. We
to ask
can.
something. Does anybody remember when we first got VHSs or V8, the recording machines, like at home? Do you guys remember the first time you were able to record something that was on TV?
Yeah.
That was even before the computers, right?
Right.
That was a big deal for me. I remember that. But anyway, that's a whole other
But was that in the
That's a whole other
80s?
question.
Yeah. Yeah. But late 70s too, also late 70s as well. The betas, if you remember, before the VHS, of course, the betas.
Don't mention
And then,
that.
of course, the
that.
the Magnavox or Fuji blank tapes that cost
Right.
$40.
Betas. Right.
Yeah.
Guys and gals, we all agree on one thing, though, right? The internet, there's something positive about the internet that I can attest to. At least you can check out New York Knicks box scores rather than watching the game. You don't want to watch the game because then you will probably either fall asleep or do something bad to yourself. So, guys and gals, we interweaved. Right? I mean, Tommy, is there something there? There's something there, right? Oh.
No, I thought you were talking about the Philadelphia 76ers, but go ahead.
Guys and gals, I love this because right now we can talk about topics that are really, we can interweave all of them. That's what makes this topic so awesome. And Diane, Laila, and Tommy, home run all the way. Home run. After that basketball reference, I'm going to baseball. So with that, Giselle, who do you think wins this topic and why?
My vote for this topic is going to Laila Robbins. She gave me the most information on the history of what led up to the internet, as well as its effects after it was available to a wide range of people. So I am going with Miss Robbins.
Giselle, thank you so much. If you could tally that as well, 3 more points to Laila Robbins. We're going to bring up Mindy Red and see who she votes for and why.
Good evening, guys. Wow. Again, another tough debate. You all have such excellent points on this, but I have to go with Laila as well on this one because she did talk about how much the internet changed. I mean, our world, it keeps us in touch.
Can't beat it. Yeah, can't beat it.
And you can't, there's not a lot you can do with the computer or the cell phone without the internet.
True.
History, she shows us how, with the research of the internet and, I mean, again, I remember the card catalog days and getting up and walking back and forth and everything. And so, yes, Miss Laila definitely sold it with how much the internet has changed our world.
Very strong point. There's no denying.
Absolutely.
Very strong point.
Yeah, guys and gals, again, this is getting close because the judges' votes are worth 3 each. So just like that, it is 18 to 10 to 9. So right now it's very close. And remember, top 2 vote getters advance to round number 2. The star-studded field in round number 2 is filling up. Let's get all of your votes in. Absolutely. Jaleesa says voting for Tommy. Tough debate. Absolutely. Tommy Davidson gets another point from Jaleesa. Thank you very much. And guys, hang around for our last topic, which will determine the 2 winners. Strong points from all without question. Sunshine says hard to argue with the internet as God. It is definitely reflective of the human collective consciousness and is literally an ever-growing library of all human knowledge.
Hey,
Can't argue that, right?
So I mean, she said it, man.
There you go. Laila has my vote. So Sunshine votes for Laila, guys. Again, who made the better point? All 3 did. I'm glad I'm not voting. Sean says, how is this for a Reader's Digest version of my vote? Laila gets my vote this round. Sean votes for Laila. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate that. Blake says, Laila nailed it. Another vote for Laila. Giselle, thank you for keeping up here. If you could just keep tallying this, I would appreciate that.
Okay, so she's going to. All right,
I'm telling you. Well, we got 4 more rounds, though. John says, man, oh, man, I'm going to go with Diane this time. Diane gets John Red's vote. All right. Phil V. Donahue says, I vote for Laila. Great points on the dramatic change brought about by the internet. Again, you can see the enthusiasm from Laila, Dan, and Tommy because they want to win this thing without question. Lola says, Laila gets my vote. Julie Hall says, again, all 3 are fantastic. Vote goes to Diane Franklin this time. Okay, Julie. So a vote for Diane and a vote for Laila. Chris says, all three inventions made such a big difference, but I believe Laila made the stronger point of how the internet changed the world. So another point for Laila. Daniel votes for Laila as well. Okay. See that point there. Gina says, tough one. I'm going with Laila for this one. So 2 straight for Laila. Yeah. Dakota Benson says, I'm pulling for Tommy this round. Excellent job. So Dakota votes for Tommy Davidson.
Thank you. I got one. Okay.
Joe Rizard votes for Laila as well.
My learning curve is improving here.
Guys and gals, this is
tremendously.
I love reading all the comments. It's so cool.
Oh, I got to tell you, I love how we were able to, and again, not to sound cheesy and corny, but the sense of wonder, making people provoke thought-provoking topics that make people question maybe how they came into a topic before they heard these amazing debaters make their case. That's what does it for me. Andrew says, my vote goes to Diane for this one. Absolutely. Okay.
Thank you, Andrew.
Johnny McKinney, Tommy Davidson. Very good. Okay. Chad
John.
TKN. I'm going to vote for Diane Franklin this round. Everyone made great points, but hers were stronger. Thank you, Chad.
Thank you, Chad.
Okay. All right, there we go. Some more. If I've missed any, then you could blame me after the show, and I will apologize profusely. Guys and gals, this is live. Mindy says, I vote for Laila, this round. Thank you very much. Lola says Laila. Lola says Laila. Okay, vote for Laila.
Yeah, thanks, Lola.
The memory of going through book after book as you walk through library corridors just flashed through my senses. I vote for Laila. Yes, libraries are a dying species indeed. We don't see much of them, and we should. That's pretty sad.
I'm now voting for Laila. The memory of that.
I had a game called More Underrated once.
Smell it, right? You can smell the library. Right?
I'm telling you right now, the books, right? I missed that, the musty smell. But I had a game called More Underrated once, and the options were Ben Stein, library, and sauerkraut. And I said you could combine Ben Stein and libraries. You put Ben Stein in a library, and that becomes very underrated, right? Seeing Ben in the library would be great, I think. Ben's a good guy. So tough, but I'm going with Tommy, putting it all on the palm of your hand. Putting it all in the palm of your hand. Thank you, Alexander Garcia. Appreciate that. Andrew said, did you get my vote for Diane? Yes. Andrew read the third. We got the fourth, the fifth. A lot of Andrew Reds over here, but I'm getting your vote. All right. Patrick says, again, all had great points, but Laila has my vote this round. Another point for Laila. Okay, I think we're just about done for this round. Before we head into our final round. Lester says Laila. Lester says Laila. There we go. Okay. Chester Ben Stein is elected.
Lester, I thought we were friends. Okay.
Look at that. Guys and gals, you never know what's going to happen each round and who will affect you regarding your opinion and your voting. So with that, we have Tommy Davidson with 22 points, Diane Franklin with 15 points, Laila has 19. So Tommy with 22, Laila with 19, Diane with 15. This is close. This is close. We have not seen matchups this close in quite some time, and we're witnessing it live. So with that inspirational moment of the 80s, we'll essentially conclude this amazing grand debate tonight. What's the definition of inspiration? It ain't the Knicks. We covered that. But inspiration can mean a few different things. It can describe the process of being overcome by a spontaneous urge to do something creative or important, that eureka moment when the way forward becomes suddenly obvious to you. Or it can describe the act of impairing that motivation to somebody else through your words and actions. And when you impart such motivation, it's priceless. Coming from the Latin word inspirar, meaning to breathe into, the word inspiration was originally used in a divine context to mean a kind of mystical, animating force, a profound idea of truth revealed to an unsuspecting person. This is why inspiration is often said to strike out of nowhere, as though the feeling itself were a bolt of lightning from a heavenly muse. And the 80s offered a bevy of inspirational moments. So with that, Tommy Davidson will make a case for the announcement of Martin Luther King's birthday in 83 as a federal holiday as the most inspirational moment of the 80s. When Tommy's finished, Diane will make a case for will make a case for the We Are the World recording as the most inspirational moment of the 80s. And Laila Robbins will then make a case for the fall of the Berlin Wall as the most inspirational moment of the 80s. Tommy, my friend, are you ready?
Oh yeah.
3, 2, and you.
Get emotional. I just think that it was completing an arc that our country really needed. It was completing an arc. It started with slavery. It started with 1492. It started with poor Europeans coming here. Nobody made out 100% in this country. But to have there's no holiday that where peace is celebrated around the world, except for Christmas, you know. It just made didn't put John Brown's life in vain, didn't put the Kennedys, John Kennedy's life in vain. All of the well-meaning white people that were a part of the civil rights movement and wanted equality just as bad as we did. It just was a good modern answer to a very ancient problem that we had. And we still have, but I think it's become more of an illusion. or more of a political tool, or a tool that could be used by very powerful small group of people that can turn us against each other like they do. But I just think that the justice system, the government, the people really just said, you know what? Martin Luther King gave his life so that everybody could be together. And damn if they aren't. Damn if they aren't. You know, my mom, and my dad are white. I didn't know that I was black. Family in the trash in Mississippi. But they answered and then took me and raised me. But they answered the call of Kennedy. No one really ever speaks to the white part of America that wanted that, you know? And the reason why I brought up John Brown is because John Brown was from Kansas and Missouri, were two states that didn't want slavery, you know, and his two sons, his family, they died, which spurred the civil rights movement. But I can just go, you know, through a litany of nobody got out of here without being touched by it. The Irish in the famine, you know, the Italians going through what they went through, the Polish, the Poles, Latinos. And it's just a day where everybody can just put it down and kind of look like the John Rockwell painting where we had us all, you know, so that's the reason why.
Guys and gals, 55 years ago, a few months ago, Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, and Tommy Davidson, heartfelt topic, and thank you for giving us you. I mean, it really means so much to me, and I'm honored by that. Some incredible comments here. Incredible, absolutely incredible, Tommy. Appreciate the heartfelt, nuanced, and poignant argument Tommy's making. Great job. Let's keep reading these, guys. I will read all of your comments between every single topic. Love all these topics. Thank you, guys and gals. Well, give credit to the debaters who are doing a great job with these topics. So with that, let's kick it over right now, guys and gals, for Diane Franklin. We'll make a case for the We Are the World recording as the most inspirational moment of the 80s. Diane, are you ready?
Oh, yes, I am. But I do have in my 10 minutes, I'm going to tell Tommy, that was beautiful. And also I wanted to share that I teach kids, K through 8. I work with kids, and I so love Martin Luther King Day because all those kids in school are doing speeches. We work on speeches with them to talk in front of the class, and I have them all in drama perform as if they were Martin Luther King. So thank you, because that was a really cool thing. I didn't even realize that happened. That is a beautiful thing. Now I'm moving on to the next one, but I want to say,
you're right. It's celebrating a person who reminded us to celebrate each other.
Right.
Pure. Martin Luther King represents, and we very rarely have this in racial peace. We need peace, right, between everybody. Can we just? It's such a major part of America. So okay, even though I gave him some more points on that, worth it. Okay. All right, but We Are the World kind of brings me to something that was important also. We Are the World was done in order to initially it was written by Michael Jackson and Laila Richie.
Okay.
They came together to write this song, and the idea was to unite everyone, all these musical artists of all different nationalities, to help Africa with a famine. And so what they raised, I think, like $50 million through this song. I don't know if you remember when it came out. I remember distinctly. It struck me so hard because Black and white were singing together, and it was like they sang it and they did it so much it went in my soul. Like it was just like everybody knew about it and everyone was singing it. It was a very, very smart thing to do because it was not just about we want money for the famine. It was about relationships between our country, like our country coming together. And I think it struck me as a young person, because I didn't know our country wasn't together. You know, I was a kid, like, you know what I mean? Like younger, you know what I mean? That's the irony about being in America is you can think everything's fine. And you find out from these things, it just becomes, it's like very interesting to me. Sometimes forcing someone to say, hey, everybody get along is not going to work. But all of a sudden you bring music into it, or theater, or anything, or films. And now everyone's open and they're going, yeah, this is what America is. We are, you know, we are the children. We are the ones.
Or quilt, yeah.
Right? We are the ones, brighter day, and we make a difference. Every person makes a difference. And I really, the lyrics, I mean, I could quote the lyrics, but I just want to say that song, if you don't know it, you should go listen to it. We Are the World, made everybody feel like they were one, we were one world. And that's why I think it really stood out in the 80s as something that was inspirational, even though maybe you didn't think of it the first thing, but it made us one. And anybody could sing it, and anyone could be part of that oneness. So that's
wow, guys, and that, when the world must come together as one. I love the word must in that. We must come together as one. Man, oh man, guys, again, we're making sure that
need to. You know, I mean, this is really true. Like, you know, they're pleading. Those are the words. I mean, I don't know. Let me see if the words. Hold on. Can I say the words?
Sure. Absolutely.
A few minutes.
Sure. Yes. Yes.
Sing them.
Okay. I've got like a virgin. I'm not singing that. Words. Beautiful. It's such a great song. Okay. You know, there's a choice we're making. Oh no, wait, here we go. Yet we're saving on our lives. It's true, we'll make a better day. Just you and me. Come on now, let's all sing. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones. It's a brighter day. So let's start giving. And again, giving.
Right.
Thinking. That's an important thing. We forget to give unless we are reminded to. And I gotta say, even in today's society, we forget to give unless we're reminded to. And maybe that's we're busy, we forget. But trusting each other and reminding each other, that's a really important, must keep going. Regardless of the show, reminding people, hey, let's work together. People, if you get a message, remember, help each other, be nice to each other, be kind.
Absolutely.
My kids. All right.
Guys and gals, again, when I conceptualize these topics, I needed to close out with this one, and you're seeing why. You're seeing why.
Yeah,
Tommy Davidson. Yeah. Please.
Just, you know, the thing that I loved about what Martin Luther King represented and what this country represented was the main push was a fight against poverty. That was the main push. And it just broke our mental barriers and our spiritual barriers with each other. Brian Everett is a friend of mine, white boy, you know, and he was up against, he was in third grade, and he did this Martin Luther King speech, and he sounded just like him, and he lost to a black girl who sucked. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it was just like, here it comes. You know, here it comes. You know, the ghost of the women who died in the fire in New York. You know, the ghost of the Irish in Hell's Kitchen.
I completely agree.
You know what I mean? The ghost of, you know, the ghost of a group of people, the Jews that are in a boxcar in February with no bathroom for weeks and not even knowing where they're going. You know what I mean? Or our boys, you know, our boys, man, who all got together and to make sure that we weren't speaking German and Japanese, you know, and here we are.
By the way, my
So
parents are immigrants, so I totally get that. I was the first one born in America, so I totally get that. You know, everything we do is it matters. It matters.
So,
yeah.
So finally, this holiday where it's more to look at. You know, Christmas is more personal. It's family. We give to each other. You know, it's one day at Starbucks that everybody says hi. The next day, no. You know what I mean?
But you know what? You're right. I'm going to make a point for Tommy. Every year we will remember Martin Luther King because of that. Because of that day.
It represents
Martin Luther King.
The white migrant workers. It represents the poor. You know, and how devastating how devastating the color green could be to all of us. You know, Grapes of Wrath is my favorite movie because it just tells that story and it just levels the playing field. You know?
And I think as artists there's so much
the green monster. Yeah.
I mean, I think symbolism is more profound when we personalize something. And as artists, that's what we do. We take that blank canvas and we fill it with beautiful works of art. And hopefully that speaks to the masses when it's honest and truthful. And guys, again, this is from the heart. Those that know me know I don't mince words. You're looking at three individuals who are extremely honest and pointed and also very detailed and warm and loving. And I appreciate all of you because this has turned into much more than just a debate.
It's just one day in the year to stop and think about, you know, those poor women in those sweatshops.
Shocking it took so long till 1983.
Yeah,
Shocking.
This is what I'm saying. We're all
right.
Yeah, that's what binds us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was agreeing with you. Shocking that it took that long for 1983 to be the year that Martin Luther King's birthday again was recognized as a federal holiday. And when you're talking about "We Are the World," guys and gals, this song didn't just inspire. This song actually saved lives. So I'm going to keep making a case for all three because Laila Robbins is next. And she'll make a case for the fall of the Berlin Wall. The old history teacher in me is salivating right now as the most inspirational moment of the 80s. Laila, are you ready?
Yeah.
Three.
I'm just mesmerized by Tommy and Diane's presentation about what they're talking about. Very moving. And I agree with both of you. I guess I chose the Berlin Wall a little bit, maybe because it kind of personally resonates with me. I mean, it was November 9th, 1989.
Yeah, it's significant.
And, you know, it's literally, you guys are talking about the divisions between people. And that was like a physical, concrete thing that was a symbol of these fences and these walls that we put around each other. I mean, the wall is like 28 miles in Berlin. And it's 75 miles around West Berlin. And it was about keeping people away from each other, people being afraid that others were going to take their jobs, keeping, you know, the ones in East Berlin where the Russians wanted to keep them. And then it was one day, this guy, Gunter Schabowski, came out. It was even kind of a mistake. He came out, it was kind of a confused moment. And before you knew it, the Cold War was over, the Iron Curtain was down, and it gave all the Eastern European satellite countries the courage to break out and say, hey, we want to be ourselves. We want to have our culture. And for me, it's personal because my parents are immigrants from Latvia. I'm first generation too, and my first language was Latvian. And they escaped the Soviets in 1945, and they lived in an American-run refugee camp in Germany for 5 years, when my mom was 13 to 18 and my dad was 18 to 23. And then they came to Seattle, Washington. They had to be sponsored by a family to come to America. And my parents picked broccoli for $5 a day. I'm not talking about each person made $5. I'm telling the whole family made $5 picking that broccoli. And then my dad got an opportunity to go to the University of Washington and became a chemist, a doctorate in chemistry. And he moved the family to Minnesota, where he invented 48 things for 3M. So, I mean, it's a real American story. But for me, like, my whole life was about being in the diaspora of the Latvian culture, hanging on to our culture, because the Russians were airbrushing people out of history books. They were changing the names of streets. They were turning the Latvian language and making everyone speak Russian. And all my whole life was about fighting for Latvia to be free again. So when that wall came down, that was like our hope. And 2 years later, in 91, Latvia became independent again. And now with all this Ukrainian stuff, I mean, Latvians have given 1% of their GPD to the Ukrainian fight. We're very nervous because we're right on that Russian border again. And thank God we're part of NATO now. Poor Ukraine's not part of NATO yet. But we feel the breath of the Russian thing coming at us again. So for me, the Berlin Wall was, oh my God, I thought I'd never see that in my lifetime. I did not believe that was possible. And how could that happen? Who said what to who and how did that happen? It still kind of blows my mind. Mm-hmm. But I guess, yeah, just this sense of this inanimate, concrete thing that we put between people. Mm-hmm. And people were hacking away at it, you know. Yeah.
And Dan Franklin with a rebuttal.
Well, it's not a rebuttal, again, but it is kind of interesting because, first of all, I want to say I love what you said. Mm-hmm. And I can understand the feeling because my parents were first generation American, and my aunt actually, when Germany was separated, like the German was Eastern and Western, I remember visiting my aunt on the Eastern, Western Germany, I think. Yeah, on the other side. Uh-huh. It was a communistic country, and it was scary. And it was everything's brick walls, and everything was gray. I remember everything being gray and stuff. So that is so real, and we're so close to that. Like, that wasn't like a million years ago. That was like within our lifetime, you know, that crazy, the separation of those things. So that's, first of all, it's so real for so many immigrant people. And again, everyone has their things they have to overcome. But I also wanted to tell you, you're Latvian. A woman who played my mother in Amityville Part 2 was also Latvian.
What was her name?
Ratanya Alda.
Oh, that sounds Latvian, yeah.
And Ratanya actually is writing a movie. She's working on a movie right now about her life. So it's about Latvian young girls, and I think getting freedom into America. So look up for Ratanya Alda. I think you really would get along with the same ALDA.
ALDA.
She's in Amityville Part 2 with me, but she was also in.
Okay.
So amazing movies. But anyway, I know like when you find a Latvian person, you're like, where is that person, right? Another actor, real stories, and yeah.
I know it's funny, when I worked on Sex and the City, I played Baryshnikov's best friend. It was a very brief scene, but he's Russian, but he was raised in Latvia as kind of an outsider. And we started speaking Latvian to each other. And Sarah Jessica Parker was like, what are you guys doing? Wow. And all day long, we spoke about Latvian traditions, like summer solstice traditions and this and that. And by the end of the day, working with him, I said, Misha, because I grew up doing little Latvian folk dances, right, when I was growing up in St. Paul, Minnesota. And I said, Misha, do you know how to do the Latvian polka? And he said, yes. And so he danced it with me. So I have danced with Baryshnikov.
Oh my God. Well, send me your information and I'll connect you with Ratanya.
That'd be great. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Anyway, I really admired.
But yes, the Berlin Wall, huge point for that.
Laila Lielishki. Lielishki. Great.
Lielishki. Oh.
Lielishki, see? A little bit.
Very nice.
Tommy, please, my friend.
It's beautiful. It's America. Latvian, American, Polish, American, El Salvador, American, the place where we came, right? The land we stand on, right? Formerly sovereign Native American land, crushed away from them. We're all in the same gang, to represent for the world what we are. The profit of cotton, sugar, and tobacco, what it did to us, what the railroads did to the Chinese. But in the wake of it, we got San Francisco, and we got an Asian culture here that's so I'm just circling it for one day we're even, we're equal. At least one. We're acknowledging it. You know what I mean? We're acknowledging that. And it's not about freedom or any of this stuff. It's about sameness.
Mm.
Well, and guys and gals, for one night tonight, I am extremely inspired by these incredible, humble, thoughtful individuals that I call friends and storytellers and amazing human beings. Thank you so much for that. It was our final round and our final topic. We turn it over to, I got to say this really quickly, though. When Richard Donner took me under my wing, I said, hey, I shot a documentary about the Battle of Stalingrad, which was the biggest battle in World War II. And he said to me, what else? Do you like historic? I said, yeah, I taught U.S. history. I said, what about the Berlin Wall? Maybe I could write something about that. And he goes, don't document that. Don't even write it as a full feature. I go, why? He goes, because the truth is much more interesting. Nothing you will do will ever do what really happened justice. Right. And thankfully, we chronicled that history as well as it was going and happening live in real time. So incredible stuff. Well, love Richard Donner, but he did rip a couple of my scripts up because they were bad. Yeah, so there is that. But I learned a lot from him.
Better, right?
Yes, it made me better.
All those small poor countries that held up this whole Soviet,
incredible.
Oh, by the way,
Poland and Hungary. I mean, if it wasn't for 81, Poland and Hungary paved the way for what we saw regarding the Berlin Wall later on. Diane, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Really, just quick interjection. I am now teaching. One of my students is from the Ukraine, and she's like, in fourth grade or going into third or fourth grade, and I think she is right now experiencing what all that is. She had to leave her home, come here, and she's a little kid, and I was like, and she's learning to speak English, and you know what I mean? Just like it's so happening. And just, Tommy, like you said, when the day hits, it hits Martin Luther King Day, hits everybody. Like everyone it means something to. It's just interesting. It's just,
man, you guys.
I'm so happy to meet you guys because you have this.
Good. It's all about happiness. It's all about happiness,
I think you guys are Tommy, what you said earlier, I agree with. You guys are all epitomizing everything you're debating about, which is pretty incredible. Because we're actually doing what we're debating about, and the keyword is doing by communicating. And man, that's a lost start in of itself. So I'm glad we're doing that, guys and gals.
You won't see it on CNN. You won't see it on CNN. That's sure.
No, you won't, guys and gals. And again, right now, I'm glad I don't have the tall task of voting. So with that, Giselle, we bring you in to vote for one of these incredible human beings.
I just want to say before I burn up in that whirlwind thing that knocks people off the show. I just want to say what a pleasure it was to meet both of you, all three of you.
I haven't seen that yet.
Be a painful demise, but
no, we don't do. What do you mean in the intro graphic? When the intro graphic,
it's an honor to talk to you.
Never know.
Why you have to tell me about the whirlwind? Now I'm like,
Yeah. No, guys and gals, remember, again, there's still one last resort. If someone gets eliminated after round one, they still get a shot to come into round two for one round and one round only because of the brackets. So, hey, you never know. But two will advance tonight. With that, I will zip the lip, and Giselle will vote for who she thinks won this round and why.
Oh, Avi, you are right. You are very happy that you are not in the judge's seat tonight because this is extremely difficult, especially this last topic. I can tell how personal they are to each one of you and how much you really feel about that. Mr. Davidson, y'all are going to make me cry. If we were speaking about the most influential moment of the 1980s, I might go with you. Your emotion, your experience, it's all there and it all leads into it. And this is how close we are to civil rights movement and to needing a day such as this in all of our lives. My parents literally could have gone to school with Ruby Bridges. Miss Robbins, fighting for that culture touches my heart because my grandfather was of the generation where they, again, literally beat the French out of him. He went to grammar school speaking Cajun, speaking French, and they had to make him speak English, also left hand. However, my vote this round is going to go to Miss Franklin. She gave me the most diversified, point on why We Are the World was such an influential moment and how it brought everybody together and inspirational moment. Let's use the right words here. Flustering topic because it is so highly charged and emotional. She gave me the most diversified points on how it brought the world together and how it continues to inspire us.
Thank you. And you inspire me because you're voting and you're tallying in the back, and that's not ezy to do as well in real time. Giselle, thank you so much. The judges, guys.
And no one's mad. No one's mad. No
one's mad. 3 points, guys and gals, to Diane. So let's tally that in the back there. Bring in Mindy Red, who you vote for in this final topic and why.
You guys made this topic very, very difficult to judge. I felt y'all's passion all through this, and there were several times I thought I was going to cry because I could feel your passion and I felt your energy on this. Miss Robbins, you talked about that concrete wall of the division, and that broke me because I remember growing up and having this division of the poor and the not poor, and I remember that. And Miss Franklin, of course, We Are the World. Golly, do I remember that. And I remember, like you said, not knowing we had a problem. I didn't know it. But I remember it being beautiful to me. I remember seeing all these people I knew and loved as a child singing together, and I loved that. But Tommy gets my vote this round because what hit me the hardest, and I had to go with my emotions on this one as well because I agreed with each topic, and you all three brought up such excellent points, but he brought up how we have one day that we lay it all aside and we come together and honor this day, and it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, we all honor this day. Growing up in school, we put that aside. And so thank you all for such excellent topics and bringing so much to this and open conversation. I appreciate that, guys.
Mindy, that was so well put. Geez.
Thank you.
So
you guys,
well put. Thank you. Our judges do a lot of homework there in the back. We appreciate you.
Yeah, that was something.
A lot. Yeah, man, I got to tell you guys are something, and we're going to turn it over to our viewers now in the comment section. We're going to find out, guys. That's it. 2 advance, 1 is eliminated. We'll find out exactly. In my opinion, again, I know it sounds cliche. There are no losers here because after tonight, if you think there are, you got to get your head examined. This has been amazing. Absolutely incredible.
Avi, is it always this hard?
Yes.
It is hard.
Yes.
I'm glad I'm not a judge because that's hard. I mean,
oh man. Well, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because I mean, look at what you guys.
You're
taking a topic, and you're not. It's heavy, but guess what, Dan? You're not just providing facts. You're personalizing, and you're offering experiences. And I think that's what speaks to people. The blend of experience and facts on full display is absolutely incredible. And again, Diane, Laila, Tommy, thank you a million times over.
Yeah. What's the whirlwind?
I'll tell you, John. No whirlwind. Johnny McKinney votes Tommy. Tommy from Johnny. All right, point there for Tommy Davidson, circa Johnny McKinney. Christopher says, "Boy, this topic is so hard to vote on. I wish I could give my vote to everyone, but can't. Tommy has to get my vote because his points were so direct and from the heart. So Tommy gets my vote. Thank you, Christopher. We appreciate that. Sunshine. Nothing is more inspiring than people joining forces for a good cause and making something beautiful together. I concur. Got to vote for Diane on this one. A point for Diane Franklin.
Close. Yeah.
Julie. Every week brings more challenging topics. I learn something each week. Thank you. Appreciate that. That's the goal. Andrew Red III. I call this edutainment, guys. We educate and have fun. I'm going to have to go with Diane. Very, very close, though. Diane Franklin gets a vote from Andrew Red III. I wonder what Andrew Red the 4th and 5th, who are commenting as well, have to say. John Red. I have to go with Diane Franklin for this final round. The vocals put her over the top. John Red.
Oh.
Look at that.
Very much. Thank you.
The range.
I did sing the national anthem, so I have to say I'm prepped.
Yeah.
Alexander Garcia. Everyone brought it, but Tommy wins. Seriously, can they all advance? Oh man.
Oh, that's
Love
very.
That. Wish they could, guys. Absolutely. Dakota Benson says so hard to judge this one, but Diane Franklin gets my vote with her lovely speech. So Dakota votes for Diane.
Thank you, Dakota. Really nice.
Collado Howard, this is what TKN is all about, having tough and difficult conversations that are just that, conversations. Let us know who you're voting for. Stop stalling, Howard. Jeff Reeder says, great job from all three tonight. I have to go with Tommy on this one, and I'm still laughing over your role in Ace Ventura from Jeff Reeder. I am as well. Blake says he votes for Diane Franklin. Very close. Good job.
Wow.
Okay.
Thank you, Blake.
In chat says Diane gets my vote. That song did so much for the change of the 80s. Chat TKN ultimate fan. Thank you so much for voting. Lester Cook, Diane, Julie Red says, my vote goes to Tommy this round. Okay. Michaela Red said, so hard to vote, but personally my vote has to go for Tommy. Jeff Reeder says, yes! 3 exclamation points. Right. Got to use them if they're there. Who else we got here? Guys, we appreciate you again for taking the time and watching us and really putting us in a position where the sponsors and all the people that are part of this thing behind the scenes are really seeing this thing catching on. And who knows, my goal has always been distribution, and you never know, guys and gals. That's where we're headed. Hopefully,
this is gonna blow the roof off the sucker, man.
Yeah, because of you,
yeah.
of you guys. Yeah, because
yeah, it's gonna blow the roof off, man. Hey, man, 2 women and a black man, 2 white women and a black man. Come on.
Eric Aaron says, I still long for the day when all our children are judged on the content of their character. That said, I vote for Tommy. As I said earlier, I've had brothers I've served with from all backgrounds, faiths, and cultures. We're all the same under the surface, and we all bleed red. True words never spoken. Thank you so much for that. Beautiful. More. Let's see. Sean says, all did a fantastic job on this topic. All had very thoughtful insights, but going with Diane on this round, We Are the World was very moving and inspirational. Makes me super emotional. Even when I hear it today, it served a tremendous purpose and a very positive global impact. Diane for round 2. Well, we haven't done round 3 yet. But
Thank you
for round 2. Okay.
Wow.
There's another round?
Yeah. There you
Another
go.
round? How did that?
Well, no. Not. Oh, for round 3, he meant round. I thought he meant the next round of debates.
I wouldn't live through it.
No. That's round.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm
For
like,
those that advance to round 2, that's in the fall.
Yeah.
So round 2 is in the fall. Yes.
my pistol, you know.
This is it. We're done with tonight. Dakota says the best show you've seen. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. But it takes a village. Thank you, Dakota, for the nice comments, though. All right, more. I think we're done, guys. I'm going to start counting this thing down. No more votes. Truly says I vote for Laila. And Mindy Foley says,
Oh, thank you, Julie.
Laila was so passionate. I loved her personal touch. She gets my vote from Mindy.
Oh, my goodness. Mindy, thank you.
Man, this is tough. Yeah, very tough. Guys, I'm going to count things down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. You're going to see the reaction in a moment, guys. 5, 4, 3. Well, Julie Hall stopped the countdown. She votes for Laila. So another vote for Laila.
Wow.
Okay.
People putting your votes
Thank
in.
you, Julie.
Can
10.
I stop it?
Yes. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
Vote for Tommy.
3, 2, 1. Guys and gals, with a final score of 32 points, Tommy Davidson is officially in the second round of the Grand Debate Tournament. And with an official score of 26 points, Diane Franklin has also moved on to round number 2 of the Celebrity Grand Debate Tournament to advance. Laila with 22 points. It was close, 22 to 26 between Diane and Laila. Guys,